Hey honeys, and welcome back to my channel. I am Sandi M for those who are new to this page, and today we have finally reached the third and final installment of my Spring Clean Your Kit series. As mentioned before in my previous videos, today I am solely focusing on the brushes, okay? These beautiful things right here, just a few that I just used. These are probably the most important part of your whole creative process of creating and becoming and making and all of that, the whole thing. These are what translate what's in the packaging, and it puts it on your face, and then you make magic. Now, I have seen a lot of other brush 101 videos, and I just thought, why not make one of my own? And hopefully in one way or another I can help you, and you can help someone else, and that other person can help another. Basically, I'm just trying to shed a bit of light in one way or another. So yeah, today is all about how to clean them properly, and you only need a few things. One would be soap. The second thing you would need is rubbing alcohol. The third thing you would need obviously is running water. The fourth thing you would need is a sink or a basin. And lastly, you will need a towel. Okay, so step one is to wash. So you rinse the bristles with warm water, or warm lukewarm water, and make sure that the water is running down the length, like downwards the length of the brush, in this like motion that it goes down. Ultimately, this prevents water from trickling down into the base of the brush, which over time does get damaged from water. Just to explain things, it weakens the glue and it shortens the lifespan of your brush that you have spent money on. Then you lather a small amount, or just enough amount of soap, gentle soap. It can be anything that you prefer. I prefer to use a bar of soap, like a Dettol or a Johnson's, but you can use baby shampoo. I also like the baby bar soap from Johnson's. You can also opt to buy a brush cleaner. In my opinion, I find them to be quite pricey, and considering how many times I use my brushes and how many times I clean my brushes, it really is not the most economically friendly option for myself. But honestly, my favorite thing to use is a bar of soap. That has just become my thing. It lasts longer and it gets the job done. Step two would be to repeat what we did in step one. You basically just continue lathering the brush with soap and rinsing it off until the water becomes clear. That is an indication that the product has gotten out of your brush and it is nice and clean. Something worth mentioning at this stage is to be gentle with your brush, because you really do want to nurture it, take care of it, and make sure that you don't break it. In this step also, what I like to do is you can wash more than one brush at a time, but I tend to group mine personally. So if I have, for example, well, these are 4 brushes that I have used. These 2 brushes had concealer, these 2 brushes had powder products. I'll wash these 2 together and I'll wash these 2 together. It depends on how much liquid substance I had on my brush, because sometimes it is harder to get out, so I will wash them one by one. But these are nice and small, for example, so I can wash them at the same time. Powder products are quite easy to clean together, so I would just clean them at the same time together. Step 3, now there are 2 ways to go about this. If you have seen my first and second video, I do mention one of my favorite things that I like to use when I clean my brushes, and that is 70% isopropyl alcohol. So step 3 is to disinfect. So after you have cleaned them, knowing me, I just use my little handy dandy spray and I spritz them a little bit. This can happen while they're still wet. If I'm being honest, I do just tend to wait until they've dried. It makes more sense for the second option though, which is in a small bowl, you can use either apple cider vinegar, proper organic raw apple cider vinegar. So you would put 1 pot vinegar and 2 pots water, and then you dip the brush in the solution and you swish it around. That's really something that I don't really do. I just found it on the internet, and I know that apple cider vinegar does have some really good properties, but my preferred route and option is to use the 70% isopropyl. I'm just very careful about how much stuff I put on my brushes. Put just enough to clean it, but also not too much to potentially damage it. So step 4 would be to dry your brushes. Now here you squeeze the excess water out of your brushes while maintaining its shape. So you basically just make sure that it's back in shape. Sometimes I like to use a spoolie and I just brush them together just to make sure that that shape is still intact. Now there are 2 ways that you can let them dry. You can lay it flat, or the best way is to make sure that you lay down a towel and against a wall you face your brushes downwards. So it will, this is the wall and this is your brush facing downwards, so that the water drips onto the towel and it avoids, like mentioned before, trickling backwards into the base of the brush, which ultimately weakens it and ruins its whole structure. And then you leave them out to dry. I let them dry in my bathroom, but I do keep the window open. I don't want it to be stuffy and all of that. And they dry pretty quickly also, but that's pretty much all we do. But yeah, this is a thorough full treatment of your brushes. As you can see, it's really not that complicated, and depending on how much you use them, it really is important to give them a thorough treatment. But yeah, it's just take care of your brushes and your brushes will take care of that face, okay? They will come together and make magic happen. And one more thing before we wrap this video off, I'm just recapping on what I said in my last video. It is important to keep your case or your bag or whatever you use to keep your brushes in nice and clean as well. I like to give it a nice good wipe with water and soap, and then I give it a nice spray. But yeah, you know, after you've cleaned your brushes, and you know, you can also give the base a nice wiping, and you place them back into a container that is clean as well. So that wraps up the whole video, and it also wraps up the whole Spring Clean Your Kit series. I have enjoyed this so much. I didn't think I would ever enjoy speaking about cleaning so much in my life, but I really do hope that the series shed some light on a few things that we kind of don't think about often, and a lot of things that we can be a little misinformed about. And I hope that it brought a lot of clarity. If you think that I haven't covered a few things, please let me know and I will get on that. But yeah, now that you know what's poppin', how to keep your brushes, your makeup, your cases, how to keep them clean and sanitized and disinfected, you can now go conquer the world. I don't know, that's a bit dramatic, but yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. It means so much to me, and I'm wishing you such a lovely, lovely day. Mwah.